Hi, I'm Bill Corcoran Jr., and I'm your host for the On the Stacks podcast. Today, I'm chatting with artist Rico Ebert. What's up, podcast episode 79 of the On the Stacks podcast in the Blue Door studio. Welcome to the podcast, Rico. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. This has been like several months in the making, like literally probably like 8 or 9 months. So I'm super pumped to have you here. And first off, I know you're going to shout him out too, but I just want to give a little shout out to my boy Ryan Garvey, who's actually hanging out with us today. I told him
in studio.
I know. I told him he's got to sit in the corner and be quiet. No, but this is super cool because, for a lot of people listening that know you or don't know you, but you're from Northeast PA, but you moved to Tampa years ago and you're home visiting. And I finally caught you. Like I said, we've been talking for like months to finally get you to come in on the podcast. And I think what you do is super, super cool. And you made me this awesome painting today, and we'll talk about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and everything else you do. But first, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Rico Ebert, or the artist name I go based off of. If you know me and are wondering why I'm using that name, that's within the art community what I'll refer to myself as. And moved down to Tampa, Florida 5 years ago from Northeast PA here, and just delved into that scene down there as far as with the art and everything, and it's been flourishing, taking off over the last like 3-4 years. So it's pretty cool.
And you used to live, when you said you pulled up here, you recognized the little corner here that we're at, but
yes.
You used to live like right up the road,
right at the top of the hill. Yeah, with my girlfriend, wife now, but girlfriend at the time, Dara. Yeah, we were living right at the top of North Washington Street there.
Yeah,
so it's pretty wild. I've been driving past it for years.
Yeah, the painting. So you moved to Tampa, but you weren't always doing this, right? I mean, you had a job, like a regular job, like we'll say, like anyone else had before this. And how, does this go back to your childhood? Like, how far does painting and this art go back?
So for me, I always tell everybody the first time that maybe I realized I was an artist, or my parents did, was first grade. We were coloring in art class some squirrels. You had to color for whatever reason. We were doing squirrels, and I colored mine in. I was the first one done, so I felt the need to go ahead and start drawing boogers coming out of my squirrel's nose. So, of course, my teacher was concerned when she walked by and seen what are you, 6-7 years old at that time in first grade, drawn, boogers coming out of a squirrel's nose, as the rest of the class was just coloring like they should be. And so they called my parents in for a nice little meeting and said, I don't know what his deal is, but he likes drawing boogers coming out of squirrels' noses. So like, they were just taken off guard, I guess, by it. I don't see why it's such a big deal, but that's where I tell everybody my career started.
So that was your first piece of art?
Yes, it was.
Where is this piece?
I no idea.
Oh my God.
Probably the garbage somewhere.
Oh no!
I'm sure the teacher probably tossed it. She wasn't happy for some reason.
Yeah,
but
so like you almost
that was the first one.
So you almost got scolded for
yes.
for your creativity.
Yeah. That was the first time. And other than that, my dad, as I've grown up and realized, just him telling me stories throughout the years and stuff, he was actually a really good artist and everything. He won, painting competitions when he was in junior high that he was entering that were at like King's College and stuff. So everybody just attributes when I started doing this, they're like, oh, wow, that's just like your dad, or you're as talented as your dad was. And so, I got to, realize that maybe it does come, genetically, or however you want to look at it, or passed down. But they say I get it from him. So
did you grow up like seeing him paint?
No, not paint, just draw. He would just draw me stuff. Every spoiler alert for any teachers listening to this, every book report we ever had to do that drew a picture that he said was awesome, my dad was doing that for me. And he would help me out with my homework or anything like that, draw little pictures. So I knew he was always talented. And then, like I said, as I got older, they would show me his artwork or paintings and stuff like that, that I still have to this day, that are, they're in storage and everything. But yeah, we still got all that stuff. So
like at what point, you've only been doing this for like really full time, I guess, for probably a few years, maybe less. At what point did you realize, like, hey, maybe I could like do this full time?
Moving to Florida. So part of the origin story here as well is like my dad over the years ended up having a best friend who is Ken Marquis. He owns Marquis Art and Frame here in Wilkes-Barre and up in Scranton. So Ken was a big part of my life growing up as one of my dad's friends, and he actually had an art school and stuff. So in the summer, my parents would be like, all right, well, you're going to art camp for a week, and Ken's going to pick you up every day and he'll drop you off. And it was at the top of the art frame studio, and he had a gallery downstairs. So that's where I first like learned to draw and shade. And I remember like the first thing we ever drew was like a bubble gum bubblegum machine. It was like they taught you how to shade the side of the bubblegum machine. And so, worked with him and did all that. And so that was where, they knew I could draw or had a little bit of knack for it. Or I guess I got involved in it per se. And never thought it to be a business model or a reality over the years. Just kind of did it as a hobby outside of sports through high school and college. And then when I moved to Florida, I was like going into these art galleries and checking out places and stuff like that. It's a massive art community down there. So it's just kind of, you fall into it just walking around the downtown area and just realized I'm like, oh, wow, people really do make some money off of this. This is pretty wild. I could kind of do that. And, my wife laughed at me and was like, you can? And I said, I can. And so, I was working from home at the time. And so I just started drawing again, working from home. And she came home one day after work and was like, you draw that? And I said, yeah. She's like, you said you could draw, but I didn't know you could like draw. I'm like, well, yeah, what'd you think I meant? Like, and it's not stick figures. Like I could draw. And so she was like, oh my God, I had no idea. And so that's just kind of how it started. And then just, sure enough, I started shooting my shot, going places or talking to people, and just met people in that community and started selling them. It's pretty wild.
So did you ever think that you'd ever be doing this full time?
No, like I said, not until moving down there. And then as soon as I did see the business model for it, or see the way a few other artists that now I, would consider a friend and, intermingle with and everything, are in the same circle of living down there, it's kind of like, I've taken a little bit of each of their business models and was like, hey, this is something that is totally sustainable. And, coming from the valley here and, my family only owning businesses or being entrepreneurs per se, or only ever working for themselves, and me only ever working for family until I moved to Florida and realized that wasn't fun. Working for somebody else, I was like, well, we'll try this. And, it's, at least I've been working out.
So what did you do? You moved to Florida, and before you really, started doing the, all the painting full time, what did you do? So
I was actually selling homeowners insurance for Progressive, home and auto insurance. And so I passed the licensing exam for that in there, and ended up moving, being in office like 6 months. They gave you the option to go work from home. I was like, I'm going to work from home. We'll try this out. And like I said, and then, input that earlier story, just sitting around drawing at the house while, everybody else went to work, and I was there by myself. And that's just kind of how it started,
And like, at what point though, like, did you just how did you decide like when to quit your job?
Once I was able to, we had a number in our head, me and my wife, as far as like, hey, we know you're allocating this amount of time towards it right now, and you're making, you're able to sell this many a month. If you can, hone in on this portion of the business that you want to do, whether it's like, now I do murals for restaurants. I do, I've had people over the last few years now, hit me up to do, just a logo for their landscaping business. And that's something separate that I don't do as like Rico Ebert, the artist, that like where, I'm building that brand or value and like the originals that I do, versus like the sustainable business model on the back end, which is like, helping people with that, designing their logos, designing their t-shirts. I've had real estate agents hit me up. I've had, other places, and then, murals for businesses and restaurants and things like that. And it's like, it's an unresellable piece of artwork. So it's a one and done for that type of stuff. And I do thoroughly enjoy doing it, but those are the ones I approach more as like a painting business versus like, selling my stuff on the art market or what I'll push on social media. So that's kind of, it's a whole little operation now as far as that goes. So it makes it cool.
Yeah. So what's the art scene like down in Tampa?
It's cool. I mean, there's a bunch of, not a bunch, but there's quite a few like art brokers and things like that. And they just have a scene for it as far as, fashion, art, music, they intertwine it all. So like everybody works together. It's awesome. You'll see all the different artists get together and collaborate. You'll see, different, they have massive events there and things like that, for just within the art community. So and it all takes place there. Just the weather's good. Miami's right there a few hours away. That's, probably the biggest art scene out of, being over in Tokyo, and Japan is, massive market. So just having like Art Bazaar right in Miami every year, which is, if anybody doesn't know, like 10 days of just like, people spending an exorbitant amount of time and money on artwork down in Miami.
I was there once.
Yeah. It
was super cool.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. It's an amazing experience if you've never been, but yeah, it's, Yeah, I mean, and then that just, kind of translates, makes its way up towards Tampa. And so, we all kind of just intermingle. And like I said, any event that has to do with, music, fashion, whether it's a runway show, I mean, they're involving artists and visual art and everything in every aspect that they can. So they're just very open to it. Every business down there has a mural painted on the outside of it, or, the arts district is, one of the biggest attractions down there. So it's just, yeah, I mean, couldn't help, especially if you had talent for it, to not throw your hand in the ring.
Yeah. So earlier, and just kind of now you touched on a little about like the art scene in the community and like all the people involved and everyone kind of getting together. Like when you first started, was there anyone then, or is there people now that kind of like helped you and guided you or mentored you, or just, bounce ideas off each other?
Oh, for sure. So the one person I definitely got to give a shout out to is Dave, and he takes my photos and everything and stuff like that. And he was just a friend from college that was living down in Tampa, and so as soon as I moved down there, we kind of hit each other up and reconnected. And he was getting involved in taking photos and doing stuff with social media, and again just part of being just an artist himself was like he was in that community, and he was the one that was like, hey, you want to go to this event with me tonight, me tag along. I'm like, all right, cool, let's go check it out. So I started kind of going to these things and being brought along by him, and that's how it all kind of what was the question again? How were we?
the people, like maybe someone mentored you or helped you.
Oh yeah, I mean Dave was one of them. Like I said, as far as that, helping me with the social media aspect of it and kind of kicking it off, and then same thing, just meeting people within that community. Dave, there's Jason Skeldon is a friend now of mine. He's probably built the best brand or business model within the area, and I tell him that as well, where it's like, hey, anybody that can model it after the way you do it, it's it's pretty neat. So him, I take a little bit from everybody. There's people, like I said, that just built a brand around themselves and make it sustainable, and there's a number of them that do it. My boy Rojo, Aaron, Painkiller Cam. Cam's the man. He's a wild one, but he's probably got one of the coolest approaches or the way he markets it, and that's pretty badass. So yeah, just all those guys, take a little bit from all of them, and they all have their own flavor, and I try and come up with mine. So
yeah. So like kind of like, what is your style, and like how do you come up with the concepts and the types of work that you do?
The originals, I just do stuff that is, as far as that I'm not for myself, just make that I enjoy. So it's just the pop culture and things that I'm into, whether that be, rappers, music, culture, just brands, whatever it is. And what I mean by that is like, your Supremes, your Yeezys, your Louis Vuittons, like everybody does throws that stuff into logos or, into paintings and everything. And it's fun. It makes it interesting. And I like using all that kind of stuff. So just a mesh of all just types of pop art, street art, modern art, anything in any medium that you could use, like on yours that we did, it's a little bit, if it was a commission or for somebody like yourself, when I'm doing them for somebody and I know it's going in their house or business or whatever it is, I take, for yours, it was easy. We did what this is, the podcast. We took that, not your logo, but the name, and made it into, my own street art or graffiti and put that on there, and then a textured border around it. And then also something that's you, which is like, I went with Penn State colors, so it's blue and white. And, that for you works. And I do that with everybody. I'll tell them, give me 5 things that say you or that you want to incorporate it, and then just trust me to do my thing. And so that's kind of how it, works out. And I'll show people a digital rendering beforehand or something like that. But other than that, just the freedom to go about it. But yeah, it's usually just, like I said, aspects of the people, or what they want done. They'll come to me with a concept or idea, and I'll run with it a little bit.
Yeah. So like you said the word like commissioned, and like how does that stuff work? How do you find people that do it? Do people come to you? Is it how does it work?
Half and half. So social media does sell a majority of them, but I am also a loudmouth, and I'll shoot my shot anywhere I go. So just whether it's, was originally going into stores in the mall and doing shopping on my own, and, just asking about other artists and artwork that was, available for sale in there. And then, as soon as you would give me an inch to be like, hey, what do you do for a living? Or, oh, you into this? I'm like, well, I'm an artist as well. Oh gosh, let me see your stuff. And then, whether they were being nice or, just trying to, make a sale or sell a pair of jeans or shoes themselves out of their store, they were like, yeah, bring it on in. Come on, we'll check it out. We'll hang it up on the wall. You know what I mean? And I was the guy that, I was respectful about it, but I would show up or be like, hey, I got that for you. You still want it? You know what I mean? Or I'll message them or email them or to give me my business card. I'm somebody that uses it. So like when I give out my business card or I'm telling you my social media or saying to message me, like I have full intention of getting back to you, or you know what I mean? Holding true to whatever we talked about. So I'll hold other people to the same standard as far as that goes, where it's like, hey, you said it, man. I'm going to take it and run with it. So I started just getting them in businesses for sale and things like that. So, stores in the mall that sell them, and they go out of there. I've done a couple like silent auctions for charity events that sell them, art shows, you know what I mean? Things like that. So, as far as like the art scene or community, there is art shows every weekend pretty much. So, I'll do, one of those every few months or something, take a couple new originals with me when I have them. So that, and people, as far as just coming to me, just word of mouth, whether they're in the store. Sometimes people in the store, they'll go in and be like, oh, well, that artwork's cool, not even realize it's actually for sale, or they'll think that that's just part of the store or the shop, and they'll just ask who the artist is, and then just hit me up and message me, hey, I saw this painting that so and so has in her store, what else, do you have anything for sale? I'm like, well, that was actually for sale. And so they'll be, oh wow, I had no idea, you know what I mean? Well, I want this, you know what I mean? And then they end up, I'll be like, all right, well, email me and we'll go about it. So for the longest time, it was me just wanting to give everybody a deal and have fun with it, and then over time, my wife kind of has to be the one now where she takes over my email, and she's like, have everybody email you. Like, we got to put together a calendar, a little list, and you got to do these in a certain order. And, so she deals with the back end of it now and prices them for me and helps go through all that, because I just want to do it for free and, give it to everybody for nothing. She's like, hey, if we're going to do this and we're going to do it as a business, then, so she'll handle all that kind of stuff and speak to everybody and kind of, just bring everything together.
Would you say that social media has really helped your business?
Oh yeah, for sure. Social media is the one thing that I knew kind of going into it, that if I did it not right per se, I guess there's no right way to do it, but that I would be able to leverage, or in today's day and age, what makes this type of career choice sustainable is the fact that if you can use social media to your advantage, then it is going to flourish, as if you didn't. So I treated it as my own gallery. So my Instagram or social media is my art gallery, and basically take a page out of, like, I started thinking about it as a independent artist, but like a musician, where it's like, hey, you don't need a record label anymore to do this. You could just go ahead and put your stuff right out on SoundCloud or Spotify or whatever it is and take it right to the masses. You don't have to wait to get that connection in an art gallery that's going to take half or 50% anyway, and then, you know what I mean, and market it and, do it that way. It's kind of like, I can take this right to the people and let them decide if they think it's cool or not. And as long as it is, then, you know what I mean, it'll go in the direction that I want it to. So that was my thought process about it. And so I just went all in on social media as far as being like, I'm just going to market everything there. And again, that's probably what helps out the most. You know what I mean?
I was going to say, did you were you successful, selling any through, people just seeing your stuff on Instagram? And
yeah, absolutely. So Instagram, I mean, people are hitting me up all the time on there as far as, just messaging me when I post them and stuff like that. So yeah, I do sell quite a few through that. Now, again, I have to direct people to my email or be like, hey, email me this way I can keep track of everything, or, I can't, be given, it's so hard to keep up with sometimes, just like get everybody wanting a price. Hey, how much is this? Or, they have no idea, or, what's for sale? What is this? Or, so it's an interesting one as far as a business, because it's not one specific thing I sell. You know what I mean? Everybody's got their own idea, or, wants the image in their head or what it is. So it makes it difficult when answering questions that way. But other than that, yeah, no, everything now has to be kind of done correctly. But I used to just fire from the hip.
Yeah. So I mean, I've seen a lot of these that you've done. Obviously, like I said, for several months now, you and I have been going back and forth on Instagram. Actually, believe it or not, that was our only form of communication really until today. Yeah. But how I've seen the intricacy of a lot of the work that you've done. Yeah. Like, how long does a typical painting take you?
I like to tell everybody 2 weeks, and it doesn't happen.
So it takes longer?
Yeah. So if undistracted, you know what I mean, take my undiagnosed ADHD out of it, most likely. Yeah, I could probably get them done in like 2 weeks and be happy with it being perfect. So one thing that I consider an attribute to my work, or I pride myself on, is the fact that I'm OCD about it, and everything does have to come out perfect. So it's always got to be, perfect straight lines or perfect whatever, but I don't use anything to make it perfect, I guess. So that ends up being the fun of it, or the task. So I don't use a ruler at all. I don't use a piece of tape to get a straight line, nothing like that. So everything is just me and my OCD. So sometimes, like I said, I'll tell everybody 2 weeks, and it'll take a month and a half sometimes, and everybody's cool about it. And that's where other things to keep people occupied came into play, or ways to build the suspense of, buying a piece from it or make it a whole experience kind of came into play. But yeah.
So you also brought this candle, and when
Yes.
you got here, you said that this candle also kind of has something to do with this. What's the story with the candle?
So going to art shows and going to these different things, and not everybody being prepared at that moment, or as big as some of these pieces are, to go home with something. They do, whether at the time it's not in the budget, or they want to wait a couple months, or whatever the case may be. I'm realizing that so many people are interested in it, but so little are ready to pull the trigger right at that given moment when it kind of unexpectedly comes into their lap. So let's put it that way, I guess. And so now it's like I needed to offer something else. So a lot of people would ask about, Dad, you got stickers? You got this? You got that? And it's like, I'm not into stickers. I never put like stickers on my computer, or on my car or anything like that. So it's like, well, I don't know. No, I don't have any stickers. You know what I mean? I got a business card. Here you go. And, but like what I am into is, as far as like any aesthetic or home decor, like I constantly burn a candle when I'm painting. I'm like, well, I make my own candles, you know what I mean? And so, my wife being on TikTok and, watching some tutorials and stuff, she's like, oh, you can make your own. Like, you know what I mean? Or come burning candles every single day. And then as soon as she was like, make your own, I'm like, well, I could turn this into something. I can't just be a guy that makes his own candles, you know what I mean, for his own use. So I was like, you know what, there we go. We're going to start using these. And so now I take them to art shows. They got a little box. I customize them. I paint splatter them. I'll draw stuff on them, sign them, all kinds of stuff. And so I do a couple different flavors and everything that I'll go to with each art show. And it gives people something to, get excited about or take home with them, and be able to burn for a month on their coffee table, and not help but think about me as it's got my little label or logo on it.
It smells super good, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you got sandalwood there.
Is that what that is?
I think that's a sandalwood one.
Here, give
I'll
it a smell.
Give it a sniff.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
What is it?
Yeah, that's the sandalwood.
Sandalwood?
One. There you go.
Yeah, I love it.
All right.
Yeah.
100% organic soy candle.
Nice.
There you go.
So do you paint, like, do you do all the stuff right out of your home?
Yeah, for the longest time, I have been. And right now, which is why I'm home here in Pennsylvania, is I am finally building a house down there in Tampa. But yeah, I was doing it out of a 2-bedroom condo for the longest time. So, and it worked out up until the pandemic. And then I had the 1 bedroom. My wife would go to her job there in the day. This spare bedroom was just me, and I would lay down tarps, put boards down, and just go to town in there. And that's where I did it for the majority of the time. And I did. It worked out nicely. But now we're outgrowing that, which is a good thing, I guess. But yeah, it's moving out of there, moving into a house now that we're building. That should be hopefully done shortly, and we'll be heading back down there. And then we got plans to put a little structure in the back for myself, a little detached,
like a little studio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just a little studio in the back.
Awesome. Yeah. That's super cool. So like, your wife goes to work, and then you get to stay home and color all day.
Well, and now she's home with me now all day. So now she does think just that. So you just sit home and color all day. So what is there really anything you're in there doing? Hanging out. I got Netflix going. I got TV going, podcasts, whatever it is. So
yeah. So like you're literally like living like every kid's dream of like, I feel like
somehow,
right?
Yes. I mean, it ended up being mine in a weird, you know what I mean? Never knew it was gonna be, but
like unintentionally,
right? Yeah.
Right?
No, 100%. That's one of the most fun things about it is feeling like I didn't end up having to grow up per se. You know what I mean? But it's fun, and it's all dependent on how hard you work, or at least that's what it's been for me. I found out,
yeah, how
focused you can stay.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're doing something right, at least. So who would be a typical customer for you?
Oh gosh, I've had So
it probably really ranges.
Yeah, it all different. Interesting enough, I mean, I've had, I will say a younger demographic a lot of times with the stuff that I'm painting. I get your 20s to 30s that are always the ones that are
These aren't like your grandma's living room paintings.
Right. Yeah. This is like, these are super cool, or I like this, you know what I mean? And they'll reach out and again, some of them are, ready to pull the trigger, wanting to do it, or purchase one. So I will sell, to some people like that. Tons of friends have been, super supportive. So, I've shipped tons of them all over the state of Pennsylvania. I'm pretty sure every one of my, college teammates here, has one of their own personal ones and stuff, if not two of them at this point. So they've all been awesome. And then, these other ones, did a silent auction for the Super Bowl in Tampa. And I did one that was a Bucks logo. I took a chance working on it for a month, like a goof, and taking probably too long to get it finished. And, hoping that I'm like, oh, this is going to work out and sell for a good amount of money if they make it to the Super Bowl. And
so you were making this without even knowing that.
Oh, with the possibility, might lose in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Or it's like, I mean, odds are, they're probably, you know what I mean? Are they really going to make it and be? They were the first team to ever have it in the hometown, win it. I mean, win it, but be the, home field advantage for the Super Bowl. So I was kind of banking on all that happening, and then making like 2 Tampa themed like paintings for this silent auction. And at that, you know what I mean? You don't get to see the artist, but an older gentleman bought that one. So that was the first time I seen somebody like, was probably in their 70s maybe, that was like, oh, that's good, so, and purchased it. And so that was pretty neat to see somebody like, a little bit older resonate with it. Cause you said it is not your typical grandma's painting in the bedroom or anything. But, so to see somebody older like that pick one up was pretty cool. And then just last weekend, fast is, randomly I was home here, and one of the stores I sell them out of, I Shop Foreign, or at I Shop Foreign there on Instagram. So that's for you, Thierry. But he pushes them very well for me down there. And he called me the other day and said a gentleman came in and bought 2 of them off his wall for a bar mitzvah. So it was a bar mitzvah present, I guess, for his son. And so that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
So however old he was, but yeah, he bought it for I guess 13, 14, 15, maybe for a bar mitzvah, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I think he might be the youngest one to have one, or a purchaser. But yeah,
who's the oldest? Do you know?
Probably the guy at the Super Bowl event. Yeah.
So like, what about like some of the other pieces you've done? Like, what's been, I don't know, your most fun one to do, or your most challenging? Like, is there any stories come to mind?
Yeah, the most challenging was I actually did one for a music video director in Tampa, and his name is Omar the Director. So he shoots like all these rappers' videos. He's actually shoots like all of like Gucci Mane's videos and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, wow.
So I ended up meeting him actually at the mall one day in that store when I was hanging up some paintings.
Literally just met him shopping.
Yeah, well, I was in the store that I sell them out of, this shop, and I'm keep saying this shop, I might as well say it's called Foreign Citizen. So again,
shout out Foreign Citizen
at I Shop Foreign on Instagram. There you can do shopping from wherever you're at. He does have cool stuff, but he gets all the football players. Now the basketball players, the Raptors are down there in Tampa. So all the sports teams, all the athletes, he kind of dresses them all, gets them all their gear and stuff. So that's where the clientele for it kind of comes in, or the people that resonate with it. And one day I was in there hanging them up, and Omar was in there, and he's like, hey, you're an artist? And I'm like, yeah, wave me over. He's like, come here. It's like, let's work on this. So his was probably the most challenging. I did 2 of them for him, again, for some like merchandise, t-shirts and things like that he's going to sell and put on his website. So I drew some stuff up like that, some graphic design, and then we did an original painting, like a Simpson themed one, but he was the one, we did it like super specific, where it was a lot of like what he wanted, which was cool. And he gave me an opportunity, plugged me in with a lot of people, a lot of connections and everything, and we became friends out of it. And he owns a couple other businesses that we have artwork hanging in now and everything as well. So but he was definitely the most challenging one. Or took me the longest.
Who's the dude with the Lambo? Is that a Lambo that I saw on Instagram? The one I just messaged you about recently. That's who he's got like all these crazy cars, and you guys.
Oh yeah,
you guys are always like driving around on like rooftops and like shooting music videos.
Yes.
What the hell's going on down there?
Was that
him?
That is Jason Skeldon.
Okay, different guy.
And no,
you mentioned
different
him
guy.
Earlier.
Right? Yeah, he's the one I mentioned earlier. Again, through this whole process, became a good friend, a mentor, whether he realizes it or not. You know what I mean? And I've definitely told him that. As far as like I said, his business model, check his stuff out. It's awesome. But he's built a whole brand around his name and all that kind of stuff. And yes, the cars he drives, and he wraps them in his artwork and all kinds of crazy stuff. But so working with him and collaborating and things like that, and he's super supportive. I'll go to his art shows, and we're there, and I'm talking with him and other people, and they're there to purchase his stuff, and he's telling them, oh, he's an artist, look at his page, check his stuff out. And I'm like, well, thank you, man, but we're here for you tonight, or so he's just super supportive, super friendly, and that's how everybody is down there, and it all helps out. It goes way further than probably even the people that think they're just being nice realize as it goes. So all that stuff and just connecting with those guys down there has helped me immensely.
Yeah, it sounds like you're having a lot of fun down there. Yeah. Holy shit! I gotta come to Tampa.
Come on down anytime that you want. It's the perfect weather.
So
Garvey comes down all the time.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, well, and I think here's your moment. You said you want to give Garvey a shout out. So is there a story or something?
Garvey is one of the very supportive ones. So I think he was down there right when this all kind of first started, or he's come down quite a lot. So he was there before it was an idea. I think during, and then was one of the first ones to go ahead and even purchase one off me. So he brought it here with him today. So you got to make sure I sign it for him because I at the time forgot to sign it. But,
when you were like a rookie.
Yeah, exactly.
Rookie move.
Forgetting to do stuff, and that's
so it was signed here in the podcast studio.
Yes.
Yeah. So how far do you and Ryan go back?
High school, right? Yeah, high school. He wrestled at Nanacoke, and my uncle was the coach at the time. And I was in tail end of high school and in college wrestling. And that's when we became friends and just kind of kept in contact over the years the whole time.
All right, who was better? Did you guys wrestle each other?
No, we were. He was always much lighter than me, and now he, as we know, I'm a little on the vertically challenged side, and he ended up sprouting up out of nowhere. So now he's bigger than me, but for the longest time I was the bigger one.
So you guys actually never wrestled?
No.
Okay, but you guys just had that same like mutual connection.
Yeah, just had that connection. He was a pain in my uncle's butt, and and then that was it. And
pain or pain in?
Oh, pain. Yeah, pain in his ass for sure.
Just want to clarify.
Oh yeah. So, and I enjoyed that, so it was nice. So we immediately became buddies. So that was it.
Nice. So, I mean, I noticed you got a lot of tattoos. You got like the 2 full sleeves.
Oh yeah.
Do you draw these yourself? Like what?
No, I don't actually. Again, I have a real badass tattoo artist. She's moved here from Russia 2 years ago, and so her name is Katya, but she goes by Luna. And so Luna, she's done a lot of my artwork. I've had a couple that I got done in college. She's technically in St. Petersburg, but yeah, she's down there in Tampa, and yeah, she's awesome. So once I found an artist that I trusted down there, I started going all in a little bit. So I'm covered side, chest, stomach, arms, legs. Yeah, so
nice.
we're losing some space. I think I got my back open still, but we'll get that done soon.
Nice. So, what's the long-term vision for this thing look like?
Just keep building the brand. As far as, with each one, they are getting more and more valuable, which is cool. Not until we do get into conversation about it or what you want do we get into, pricing it and things like that. Because they all do vary. I try and do it based off of size, but each time the goal is to, kind of keep climbing that ladder. And as I do build, collectors, I believe everybody that has one has two at this point. So I think Garvey might be the only one with one, and he constantly reminds me of that. So we're going to get him another one. But everybody else other than that has, I've worked with in multiple capacities. So, as soon as they got one, they've, were hitting me up for a second one. So it works out nicely. Yeah.
So you're in Tampa, you're building a house.
Yeah.
Right. And I think you guys are going to stay in Tampa and just keep building this thing out.
That's that's for the foreseeable future. Tampa's where it's at with this. Like I said, the art community down there, and it's definitely a market for it, which is awesome. The community embraces it and is all about it. So they kind of show out for it, and they love that kind of stuff down there. And like I said, that's how I got involved or engulfed in it. But yeah, just keep building upon that, keep building my name and brand as far as that goes, social media, you know what I mean? And yeah, constantly anybody that wants one, just hit me up and we'll figure it out. I get a piece to everybody no matter what. So if you hit me up for one, like I said, I'm eventually gonna, whether 2-3 months down the road, I'll, anybody that even reached out to me, we'll get it to you somehow,
Yeah. And I forget, so did you say earlier the name Rico? You said it was a nickname, but like, how did it come about? Did you say earlier?
Oh, no, I didn't. So this is, I guess the origin story of this is just being in college, and I was out at a party on like a Tuesday when I shouldn't have been. I wrestled in college for 5 years, and I was a freshman down there, so it's like the first month or so.
Where at?
And Kutztown. I went to Kutztown University down in Allentown, and I was out one night, and I'll never forget. So we were leaving a highlighter party where people write on you and things like that. So somebody had written my name on my back and, kind of drew it in their own little graffiti or whatever it was at the time, or unlegible on my back for whatever reason. And I was walking home with a crowd of people, and one of my roommates who today I couldn't even tell you his name, but he was yelling my name up the street. And here it was because my name was spelled wrong on my back, and it was sounding like they were saying Rico. And he got home and he's, your buddy on the team, he's an asshole. He's like, who? And he's like, and he's
Rico.
saying Rico, or, be Rico, like whatever he's calling me. And he's like, who? And then he said my name, and he's like, yeah, him. He's like, well, that's not his name. That's why he wasn't turning around. I don't think he was ignoring you. And so, the next day I go into practice, and, a little hungover when I shouldn't be, or had too much fun the night before. And they walk in and they just start calling me. And I'm like, what the heck's going on here? So as everybody's listening, and, they start calling me, then they start joking around. They're calling me Rico Suave and this and that. And then my coach hears, he's like, oh, you're out last night. What happened? You're at a party? And he's like, Rico Suave. He's trying to go out on a Tuesday and meet the ladies in college. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And then it just dropped down to Rico after that. And I mean, when I say it's stuck, it's stuck. You didn't know me, especially on that campus, or I mean, my parents called me Rico. So for 5 years from that moment forward, I was Rico, and that was it. And no one ever looked back. And so as soon as it came time to pick a name, or like I said, I just wanted you to be able to, as far as building a brand, Google Rico Ebert or that name as an artist, and it just be the artwork that pops up. You know what I mean? That was the idea behind it. So that's why we went with that. It was authentically me, or everybody always called me it for years. So I was like, all right, this is it, and we'll just run with it.
Yeah. That's funny because, I mean, as everyone's listening, they heard me say it earlier, but I didn't know you up until several months ago, and I mean, I didn't even know your real name, and I only knew you as Rico. And it was funny because like anytime I talked to Garvey or anyone else, I only ever referred to you as Rico because I really didn't even know your real name, and like it was just like that was it. It was just Rico, And so, but what about the hashtag Rico painted it? Like, how did that come about?
Being down in Tampa.
I'm obsessed with hashtags. If you didn't notice, hashtag on the stack. So like, I kind of have like this obsession with like stuff like that because it's branding, and I think it's like
for sure
super cool. So how did you come up with that? I mean, it's kind of obvious. I feel
Absolutely.
like the name, but
for branding purposes, what could I do that be totally transparent, just sound it cool, or at least I think it does. And
I think it sounds cool.
It was a way to just add in a slogan or a hashtag and be able to use that as a marketing tool in the future. So we got some stuff planned with that as far as like using not just a hashtag on social media, but using the phrase to my advantage. It's on my candles, it's on my logos, it's on everything. So maybe we'll eventually shirts or something like that. Anything that we can end up throwing it on, we'll just keep using it. And like I said, it's just a tagline that it was able to come up with. Again, I seen these people down in Tampa, and everybody, the way they each market themselves, and some of them had we're using stuff like that and different things, and figure I got to figure out something for myself. So just sitting around thinking about it. That's all.
Yeah, I love
not
it.
even. I mean, just kind of pops in.
Just kind of happened.
Yeah,
No, that's
figure one out.
Yeah, that's super cool. So what else, man? Is there anything I didn't ask you that I should have asked you?
No, not that I know of. I mean, Rico, where the name came from is a good one. Usually people think it's a little bit more intricate than that, or think it's, probably.
I actually thought it was your real name. So
right, yeah, no, I mean, a lot of people do, yeah. But no, other than that, that's that's really it that I can think of. You know what I mean? But you want a piece, or you want to talk about some different things, or you want to see some of my work, go ahead and check it out, or hit me up. And
Yeah,
like I said, I talk to everybody. So
what's your Instagram so people can look you up right now?
Oh, the Instagram handle is at Rico X Ebert, and the X is just because Rico Ebert somehow was taken.
So you put the X in between.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah,
or look up the hashtag.
Or you could use the hashtag Rico painted it. That was done for the marketing purposes of just that. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, man, this stuff is seriously like it's like super cool. It's cool as hell. Like I have a lot of appreciation for people like you that can, do something like this. Like you have like a serious talent that not a lot of people have, especially me. And I'm gonna make the cheesy joke that like I can literally only draw stick figures, but for those that know me, that's literally like all I can do. Yeah. So no, man, I just think it's like super cool, and I'm really appreciative of you making that piece for me, man.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. It's a lot of it is just I think anybody could do it per se. It's not just putting in the hours into it and just training your eye or tricking your brain to figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, and also I think because your original squirrel painting or drawing doesn't exist, I think you have to recreate it.
Do one? Okay.
Do you think you can do that?
Yeah.
Maybe that can be Garvey's second.
Garvey's new piece. I think so. I think we just found out what it is.
Yeah, squirrels with the boogers. Is that right? Is that what it was?
Yeah. We'll get them some squirrels with boogers.
Yeah, definitely. All right, man. Well, I'm going to let you get back to painting the squirrels with boogers for Garvey, and we'll call it a night. Rico Ebert. Rico painted it on the Stacks podcast in the Blue Door studio. Thanks for joining me. If you'd like to learn more about the On the Stacks podcast, be sure to search the hashtag On the Stacks on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. We'll catch you next time on the Stacks.